Hey, I'm Mac. Welcome back to my channel. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and consider joining my Patreon for access to new videos told to 24 hours early. Okay, so you know who we haven't heard from in a while on this channel? That would be our incredible friend, Rachel Hollis. You know, Rachel Hollis. She's the most relatable and simultaneously most unrelatable. You know, it's a bit of a Schrodinger's relatability thing. Influencer, author, just, you know, incredible mogul out there. And everyone has been telling me now that I need to check out the latest Rage Talk, which sounds weirdly like Rage Talk, which, you know, is kind of accurate because sometimes her talks do fill me with rage. I haven't watched this Rage Talk yet, but I'm ready for anything. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to Rach Talk, my weekly show where I sit, in this case, in a hotel room, drink caffeine, and talk about random things. Today, I am introducing you to Walker County, my new writing buddies, an incredible band out of Nashville. We are hanging out in Nashville. We're talking about thieves. We're talking about flirting. We're talking about my relationship. We're talking about... I can't remember what else we're talking about, but it's gonna be fun. You should totally hang out.
It must be so nice to just be able to leverage your connections that you're getting once again to launch you into some degree of, you know, potential opportunity in any field that your heart desires. You know, first it was into media with Dave, and now it's into music, you know. Gosh, Rachel, like, you just are so incredible. You know, I mean, these are all opportunities that are just open to everybody. So it's obviously because you just work so hard. You're unrelatable.
Welcome to Nashville, guys. We must have shot at some point a Rach Talk on location, but I can't remember it. I've shot a Rach Talk like by myself with a random camera. Do you remember that time I was in a really cold place in the middle of winter? It's got to be like our first season of Rach Talk. I was doing my audiobook. It was January in Michigan. Of course there was Michigan. Of course there was a biker gang. I am in Nashville. I've had Jack come out to...
You're from California and you're telling Michigan about biker gangs?
Shoot with me, because I just thought it'd be really cool to like mix it up, shake it up, do the thing. And because I'm in Nashville making music, I could pull in some fun guests, which you're going to see a little bit later, to...
I'm so glad she's in Nashville making music.
You know, make Rach Talk a little bit more exciting. Also, this shirt I love, but like there's sweat here, and so this is why I'm doing this. I was trying not to go like this. It's also the same reason, if you've ever wondered, I don't know why you would, but if you've ever wondered why I always wear jackets on stage, it's because...
You're right. I wouldn't have wondered. Also, I would not have noticed that there was sweat there with that texture. Maybe that's just me, but for another thing, a lot of people get that, so I don't know. People should just get over it. I mean, I get it all the time, but I mean, I guess because I'm a man, there's like a different expectation there. But, you know, like, I mean, if people have a problem with you having underarm sweat, they can go fuck right off.
Also, how do you whistle? This is how I whistle. I know. My older siblings used to say I looked like a rat, which was rude, but probably accurate.
It took me the longest time to learn how to whistle outward. Like, for the longest time, like, I could only get a sound to come out if I whistled like inward by like inhaling. I don't know what was with that. But I also think that whistling is one of the most infuriating sounds. So... yeah. So I think that the best way to whistle is to just don't.
I don't know how people whistle like this. Like with your lips pursed, I only know this. Rat. We were in Nashville last week. Jack, if you'll recall, Jack came here. Last week I was here. I was shooting a podcast. Jack came out. And can we just tell this story? It's the most Jack story I ever in my life. I asked Jack, I said, hey, are you available to come to Nashville to shoot this podcast? And he's like, yes, of course I am. I'm thinking, let's knock out some Rach Talks while you're here. Let's get an on-location moment. So I sent a note to the team. I said, hey, when does Jack land in Nashville so that we can shoot these Rach Talks? They said, oh, he's driving. He's driving from Austin, Texas to Nashville, Tennessee.
I mean, that's not that far. I mean, it's a long drive, but when you think about it, because I'm the kind of person who would consider driving as well. Like I've driven way farther than that. I've driven from Massachusetts to California before, but for that short quote unquote of a trip in terms of like being a road trip, when it's just, sometimes it's better than flying because number one, you're going to have to get to the airport like 1 to 2 hours early. You're going to have to, get all that stuff. And then you're going to be in the air for like 3 hours maybe. Then you're going to land. And then you're going to have to find your rental car. And it always takes forever. I don't know what the hell they're typing on those computers at the rental car place, but it's like I can feel myself aging with every passing second at the rental car counter, and it takes forever. And then by the time you figure out how the rental car even works, like it's been like 5 hours, and for that 5 hours, it's been like exponentially more miserable than it would have been driving. Driving is comfortable. You don't have to go through security. Like you don't have to figure out like what goes in your luggage and what you can't have in your luggage. Like, I don't know. You get to pick your music. It's quieter than flying. Driving 12 hours versus like flying for that distance. That doesn't see that. I would drive probably. It's not that far.
Why? Because he thought he was supposed to? Because he likes a road trip? Because he wants to drive for 12 hours straight? Did you think?
Probably for the reasons that I just described. Like, I think that people see like the flight time, people see that like, oh, my flight's 3 hours. And they think, okay, flying takes 3 hours and driving takes 12. And it's like, no, flying takes longer than that because you got to get to the airport. You got to all that stuff. You got to figure out your rental. You got to take your rental back to the airport when you're done. It's a whole thing. Whereas like in your car, you're a lot more flexible. Like, and it's just a lot more pleasant. I just don't think this is as weird as she's making it seem.
I wouldn't fly you here, or you just wanted to drive? Okay. Because the way I heard it was, oh, he didn't know. And so he's like, and I was like, what kind of monster makes someone drive their own vehicle across state lines?
The same monster who appropriates Maya Angelou quote without crediting it, and then during a pandemic, and then fires a woman of color employee as a result of it because it was her fault and not yours, Rachel. That's that same monster. Final answer.
It was so crazy. But we did a podcast that was so amazing, and I am really, really pumped for you guys to get to see it. It comes out soon. There's going to be a whole theme. Y'all, if you don't like music, get ready, because it's going to be a big part of the stuff that we're working on, so it's going to weave its way in. But
bold of you to assume that if we like music, we'll like it.
Got to sit down with an incredible songwriter, like a really, like one of the greats, and talk about songwriting, so I'm really excited. But because Jack drove...
Wow, however did you get that opportunity?
We didn't quite have enough time on the ground last week, so he came back out. He flew. Don't worry, he flew this time. and we're here and we're doing this thing. And I got a list, Jack. I got a list of things to talk about. Buckle up. Okay. I love that I have this note on my phone for Rach Talk conversations, and this is in caps. That's how serious I am about it. In Cali, if you want to get your car washed, you go to a place.
You're from California and you just called it Cali? That has got to be the first time I have ever heard anybody who was born in the state of California refer to it as Cali. I lived in California for 7 years, and I don't call it Cali because I've lived there. Like, ugh. I cannot believe you just called it Cali. You've been in Texas for too long. You
get out of your car and someone takes your car through, and then people like clean it all and whatever, and here's your car. In Texas, to my knowledge, I don't even know where that would be. You don't get out of the car and nobody's cleaning inside your car. There's drive-through car washes, okay? Have you been to a drive-through car wash? Yeah.
Rachel, everybody's been to a drive-through car wash. Well, outside of California. There aren't that many of them in California.
Through car washes. And
I like the ones that they have here in Utah. There's Mr. Car Wash, and I think there's Quick Quack. This is not sponsored. But it's like you put your car in neutral and then it like pulls your car through it. It's like getting on like a dark ride or whatever. Yeah, but I have one of the monthly memberships, so you get unlimited car washes. It's great. It's fantastic. I love it.
Some are like at the gas station, you sort of just put in your info. And then some are like, we're committed to this, right? This is a business. And there's like college kids who are like scrubbing the car before it goes through the long tunnel with the whirring and the woo and the shh and the and all of it, okay? When I go to the car wash.
Was that your song?
You go up to the screen and it says like, do you want the basically like, do you want tall, venti, or grande or whatever. Like, what level of car wash do you want? I get $20 because I do my car so rarely that I want to like treat her. Here's my question.
That's not good for your car's finish.
How does the car wash tunnel know that my car got the $20 wash?
It probably either reads your license plate, or there might be an employee at like the beginning of the tunnel who matches the car with the wash that you bought. I mean, it's not that complicated. It's, license plate readers are very widely available, and like at least at the car washes here in Utah, like at the entrance to the tunnel, there's an employee there. And I'm just assuming that, number one, they give instructions to the people driving in. Like they kind of like tell you if you're like going straight in or not, or if you need to like turn to the right a little bit, turn to the left a little bit. And I assume they have like a computer there, so I assume that they're also probably either they match it up manually, or maybe they're like making sure that it's associating the right car with the right wash. I mean, there's a lot of ways that it could do it, Rachel. It's not that complicated. Like, because the thing about a license plate, it's really easy, because the entire point of a license plate is to have a standardized thing, that can be read by a lot of automated things. That's like, it's the same way that if you go through a toll easy pass lane or whatever it is, if you go through an easy pass lane and you don't have an easy pass thing, like they're still going to know who you are, which car it was. You're going to get a ticket in the mail. Like, I don't know. I don't know why you think this is so crazy. I guess you didn't think about it very hard.
Whoa. I want you to imagine a line. So you go to this thing, it's like 3 banks, right? And then they all merge into one. And then you go into the tunnel. You're telling me that this car wash has the technology to know that I picked the $20 one and Jack picked the $12 one?
Yes.
No. It's all the same car wash.
Okay, well, at the ones in Utah, it's not, because there's like a very distinct waxing step where like it dumps like this liquid onto your car that it doesn't do if you don't get the upgraded wash. Like if you get the basic one, it doesn't do that, and it doesn't do like the tire. There's like a separate brush assembly that comes out to do your tires. And that's at the car wash that has 4 lanes, and then they all merge into one and go through the tunnel. But like it's probably reading the license plate, or an employee is matching them up. It's not some crazy technology. License plates have a very standardized font, and they have a standardized size, and they go in a standardized place. That's very easy for a computer to read.
I feel convinced it is all the same car wash. How?
Oh, and for the like unlimited members, you have like a little tag, so it knows from that as well when you're going through.
How does it know?
The license plate or an employee saw you go through. I've seen it. The washes are different.
So what it says in my notes is, does the drive-through car wash really know the difference?
Yes.
You know when I wrote that note? When I was going through the car wash.
You're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever come out and been this blunt about Rachel before, but you're a fucking idiot.
My next question. These are just questions. These are just the things that I ponder, okay? How do thieves, I literally wrote down the word thieves. How do thieves not steal all the to-go lunches at restaurants? Okay, so like when COVID happened, it got really popular to get, takeout or DoorDash or whatever. So if you go into restaurants in Austin that are popular, there's all of these like shelves, and the shelves have like a bag that says Jack, a bag that says Rachel, a bag that says Joe, whatever. Yo, we could be eating like kings for free.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get to pick what you got to eat. Also, I'm sure it happens all the time. I'm sure to-go orders get taken all the time. It's just food isn't really that expensive, so it's probably not worth it to the restaurant to have a crazy security detail out there. Like probably every once in a while someone's order does get taken, or even like someone might accidentally take the wrong order. Like it's just food isn't that expensive. And also, like I think you vastly overestimate like the value of something that people are willing to steal. Like you save like what? Like you steal like a Chipotle burrito or whatever. You save like $9. That's not really what thieves are after. Like thieves are going to steal like a higher value item. Like it's just not worth it, especially for food that you didn't get to pick. And also the kind of person who needs to steal food is going to probably, unfortunately, stand out. I mean, but I'm sure it happens all the time. It's just, I mean, what? You think every time an order goes out there, you think like all 30 orders are going to get stolen? Or I don't understand. Like, how many thieves do you think there are?
Just in my notes, I said, imagine you put on a different disguise. You know, you have like your Carmen Sandiego hat and like, a fake mustache, and you go in and you're like, nobody's policing that. You literally go up.
You vastly overestimate how difficult it is to steal or shoplift.
Up to the shelf, and you're like, now, you're taking a gamble about what's in that bag, but you could just look for a bag that has like heavier stuff. Also, sometimes, back in the day when I used to eat drive-through food, it happened very rarely, but every once in a while,
drive-through food.
You get something that someone else ordered, and it was a delight. You like ordered the salad, and then you accidentally got like someone's burger, and you were like, thank you God, I didn't actually want the salad, I wanted the burger. But what I'm saying is, how do thieves not take all the lunches? How is this not like an issue?
I'm sure thieves take a lot of lunches, but it's not an issue because food is not very expensive.
I've never. Have you stolen something before? Besides people's hearts? I have never stolen anything in my whole life. Ever. Ever. I have the fear of God about steal. I'm not lying. I really am like afraid of it. When I went to the mall for the very first time at like 13 years old, went to the East Hills Mall. It was the thing to do. My dad dropped us off. It was me and like 2 friends, and my dad turned around in the back seat and he said, if you ever steal anything, I will help them prosecute you. See you later. And we wonder why. I've had years of therapy. And
Wow, your dad sounds really awful. Like, I'm genuinely sorry.
he was serious. All of us kids, my siblings, like none of us under like, you could hold us at gunpoint, we wouldn't steal anything, because he gave that speech to all of us. So it works. But I still to this
I mean, it works, but to what effect? Yeah, I mean, that sounds really awful. I'm sorry.
day, I have driven back to a store in Los Angeles, parked, which is like takes an hour and a half, just because I accidentally got something. I got home and realized like, oh my gosh, I didn't pay for this thing. It was like, I know specifically, I remember I was buying trash cans at Target in LA, and I was also getting a collar for my dog, and it like ended up in the stack, so I didn't see it. And when they scanned it, they scanned the 3 trash cans, but not the collar that was inside. That collar was probably $8. I spent over an hour getting it back to the store, took it inside, and paid for it. I am honest.
Yeah, no. See, I'm fully with you on not stealing if it's from like a person, but especially in this case where you didn't even mean to. Target is a Target has a revenue of, I think, over $100 billion. Okay, they can handle it. It's gonna be okay. And also, like, it's not like I don't know. I will never understand people who feel guilty about either accidentally or even intentionally screwing over a massive corporation that has massive, unbelievable, just completely immoral amounts of profit. Like, I will never understand that. If you have an opportunity to screw over a huge corporation, then I believe it is your moral imperative to do so. It is immoral to not do it. I think it was immoral for you to bring that collar back and pay for it. But seriously, Target has a revenue of, do you think that if Target got $8 of whatever, or just your $8 that it didn't earn or whatever from you, like, just, through some way, I don't know, they ended up with 8 of your dollars that they weren't supposed to have, do you think they would go back and spend an hour of time giving it back to you? No, I don't think so.
I do not steal, ever, ever, ever. But I feel like there's an opportunity with the free lunch, guys. I wouldn't. I'd start crying. I'd get caught. I would 100% get caught. My boo tells me this all the time, like, anywhere we want.
Forgot that she calls him that. Also, Rachel, oh my God, like, yeah, it's totally an opportunity. If you would start stealing people's to-go lunches, you could probably, have the same lunches that you can already have.
Go anything we want to do. I make him ask because 1, he's beautiful. 2, he has a beautiful accent, and people will give him anything. He's like, no, it's not true. I'm like, yes, it is. I will go ask that hostess for a seat, and they'll be like, no. Do you have a reservation? I'm like, no. They're like, get the out of here. They don't say that. Bleep that out. He walks in. He's like, hello. And they're like, what can we do? Where can we play?
That's because you're in the United States, and the accent tells the person that this man is in the United States and clearly is from the United Kingdom. So therefore, given that he is currently in the United States, he must either have enough money to go on vacation here, which is a lot of money, is very expensive for someone to go cross the Atlantic and spend time, or he has enough money to immigrate here. Therefore, either way, this person clearly must have a good amount of money. That's why, Rachel, that it indicates that he must be fairly well-to-do because he is from the UK and he has ended up here.
But what do you need? So I make him do it. But I'm pretty sure that I go to any situation like that assuming I'm already in trouble. I understand I'm manifesting this, but I'm like, you don't, like, oh my, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to bother you. You definitely don't have a seat for us, right? I'm just like confirming that you don't have a seat for us. Yeah. Where were we? Somewhere recently that he like made me do it because he thinks I'm ridiculous. And then I just absolutely screwed it up. And he was like, what? Why? I think I was like trying to park somewhere or do something. And I was like, hi, is it okay? It's like, we're not going to the thing, but is it okay if we just, it's only going to be, and the guy was like, no. We drove away and Boo was like, you're the literal, why would you tell them? Why would you give them? I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble. So anyway, okay, can we talk about the animals?
What the hell was that story?
The monsters, the people who do not clear notifications on their phone. What is wrong with you? Who hurt you? Do you know what I'm talking about? When, like, look, okay, so right now on my phone, I have 3 emails and 2 texts. This is stressing me. Stressing, okay? The second that I'm not talking to y'all, these are getting cleared. Like, I cannot have those little... Have you ever seen someone that has, like, 1,297 unread emails, 1 million unread text messages? They've got... It's, like, all over their screen. They're like, red, 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 red. Does your weird not iPhone have notifications? You have notification. Of course you do. That actually seems...
Well, technically, I hate to be a little fanboy moment here. Technically, Android had the notification shade before the iPhone did. That was always an Android feature. But listen, I'm that way with emails. I'm not necessarily with text messages, but I don't care. Like, the thing with emails is I deliberately do not respond to emails right away because I don't think if you need something from me, if you need it right away, number one, you should be considering, why do I need this right away? How could I have planned better? And number two, I'm sorry, email is not meant to be instant. And if it's outside of work hours, I'm not checking my email. Like, go fuck yourself. Because email is work. Okay? It is. It just is. That's why.
It's really on brand for you. What kind of phone do you have? Carrier pigeon? I would light my phone on fire. I would throw it down a hill. How do you know what you need to do how?
Because I know what I need to do. I don't know.
And I do this thing where if I need to respond to something, I'll not open it because I know I need to go back in. Like, let's see what's happening on tech. Oh, it's from my boo. He's telling me he loves me. See, that was worth it. But also, I get a dopamine hit because now I don't have any notifications there. Let's see what's going on in email. Apparently, at some point in life, I signed up for emails to tell me if there was ever a liquor store for sale in Austin, Texas. And I just got a notification there is one. You know why? Because I did pre-pandemic ask this question to my financial person. I was like, what are the businesses that can survive anything? And they were like, gas stations, liquor stores, da-da-da-da-da.
I mean, they're not wrong.
And so I just started looking at all these different things because I was like, well, maybe I'm not gonna add to the problem. But it would be kind of fun. I sometimes think I might at some point in my life open a coffee shop, open a bookstore, open a whoozy-whatsy, open a gas station, and just work there. And you'll come in to get gas, and then I'll be...
This is how you can tell that she's never worked in customer service.
Like, hi, Pump 7? Just what a life. I don't have to be on for camera anymore. I don't have to wear Little House on the Prairie shirts. I don't have to try and do my makeup and fail miserably, clearly. I don't, I just have to help you get your gas or like make you the perfect cortado, which I feel like I can definitely do. But then I wouldn't have time to write. So,
you absolute, insensitive, self-centered, stuck up, ignorant, privileged, fuck-faced dumbass. You are a fucking privileged idiot. You are so privileged, ignorant, completely self-obsessed. Oh my God. That was such a absolutely moronic statement that I cannot even express how angry that makes me. Wow, Rachel, your life must be so hard. You have to do your makeup. You have to wear your blouse. Oh, you have to be on for camera. Listen, girl, when you're in customer service, you are on the whole time you're there, far more than you have to be on camera. Okay? Because guess what? Most customers don't come in and go, oh, pump 7. Most customers are fucking stupid. Sorry, but they are. Like, you that's how you can tell she has never, ever worked in retail or customer service. Ever. Because that is such a stupid concept of what that would be like. Like, wow, Rachel. Yeah, you know what? There's plenty of those jobs open right now. Why don't you just go get one of them, okay? And then we'll take care of all your money, okay? My God.
I forget we have Walker County coming in. I can't talk as much because we actually have guests today. What a terrible entrance for them, by the way. Like me talking about people stealing lunches. Okay, well.
And being a fucking ignorant, privileged princess. Like, wow, it'd be so much nicer to work at a gas station instead of having, famous country singers come in on my show while I just talk about random things. Like, I mean, but like I have to wear a fancy shirt, so it sucks.
You know what? They knew. They knew what they were going to look. I cleared it and I already have 2 more. Oh, it's them.
That's what happens when you respond to things too quickly, because people start to realize they can get an answer from you real fast. And then they're going to send you more things.
Aw, cuties. Oh, we are cute. Okay.
When you're in customer service, you can't just be on your phone like that.
Ever had guests that I was not related to on this podcast? I don't think we've ever done it on Rach Talk. You might be the first.
Really?
On
really?
2 levels.
Like family?
Only like my kids, to be honest with
honored.
you.
Well,
or like,
you.
well, I guess people we work with have been here too. I've never had, newbies, and I've also definitely never had a performance. So I feel a little bit like we're doing a late night special.
Well, now we're part of the family.
Yeah,
we're part of
yes,
our
I'm
family
adopting
now.
you guys. I didn't tell you, but
we're sisters, so it works.
Right, perfect. I would love it if you would introduce yourselves
Yes.
and tell your story because it's really interesting.
It is. It's a fun, long story. I am Sophie Dawn Walker.
Yes, and I'm her big sister, Ivy Dean Walker.
The fact that y'all are putting in middle names is the most southern I have ever seen. The most southern stuff I have ever seen.
Yeah, Mom always says she named us to be country singers.
Yes,
Ivy Dean
Rachel, don't do the voice.
and Sophie Dawn. I mean,
Sophie Dawn.
It
It just
works.
You can kind
Yeah,
of start
but
off
we,
being good at telling it.
Yeah, we started playing music together now for 14 years. We started in 2007 when Sophie was 9 and I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been playing music together for a super long time. We actually we are from Indiana, went on a family vacation to Nashville in 2007 with our mom and dad. And we grew up loving music, just being obsessed with music. My dad was a huge influence all growing up in music. So when we came to Nashville, he was like, let's street perform just to say we did it.
Yeah.
Just open the guitar case on Broadway. Of course, we'd seen that in movies and all that since we were little kids. We were like,
that's something
okay.
you do,
Yeah.
you street perform. So we did it.
We
Yeah,
did.
for like
We
10
made
minutes.
We made like $4 in 10 minutes. We
What'd
played
you
like
sing?
literally just old bluegrass stuff.
I think you sang like "I Fall to Pieces."
Yeah,
You know, like
some old
some
traditional
good, like
country.
traditional stuff. Yeah,
That's so
But-
cute.
So we sang for about 10 minutes and Sophie kicked me. And so Dad would like close the guitar case. It was like, we're done.
we'll have a little fight. I mean, nothing's changed.
We
right?
She was
You were
9.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we ended up going back to the hotel and Dad was like, you made like $4 or whatever in 10 minutes. And he was like, if you want, we'll come back down in a month and do that again, but like have a lot more songs.
Like
and so
an
we were like,
hour's worth.
okay.
Yeah,
And he was like,
so-
and whatever we make, you guys can keep the money. And so Sophie and we learned about an hour's worth of songs and Dad played guitar. And we made like $200. So we thought, I mean, we were rich.
You were rich.
We were rich.
Holy
We were like, heck yes.
Sold. Yeah, we were like, okay, we want to do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so much fun. I think we went to Opry Mills Mall. I think I bought like a Build-A-Bear. Like
Literally.
something like
That's
a
what
kid
she
would
bought,
get, you
like
know?
with her money.
Like, hey, I'm rich. I'm going to go to Build-A-Bear.
Oh, yeah. So we ended up
But-
doing that and then coming back home to Indiana. And I was like, if that's something you guys like, let's start playing here. And so we did for the first, all through middle.
Wait, you were in Nashville for like 2 months when you were... There's something to this that they're not explaining, because weren't you in school?
School, all through high school, Sophie and I played every weekend at churches, fairs, festivals, weddings,
Anywhere
funerals.
they'd listen. Anywhere.
We
Like, yeah,
literally
lots of
played
funerals.
anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like I love that you're telling that story because it's also not in the same way. But when I was learning to be a speaker,
Yeah.
I would speak at the opening of an envelope.
Oh,
like,
yes.
if anyone would.
Also, like, I love how Rachel's like, that's the most Southern thing ever. They're from Indiana.
Let me in the room, I would
Yep.
stand up at people who I remember going to old folks' homes. I remember
Yeah.
going to library.
Oh, yes.
Nobody cared about what I was saying, but that's the only way that you're going to get better and
Yeah.
learn to perform in
Oh, well, if you want to recreate that experience of no one caring what you're saying, I'm right here, Rach. I'm all ears.
front of a crowd.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we got paid in barbecue sandwiches for the first
And
8
honestly,
years.
you're
Like,
right, Rachel.
legit.
Like, we learned so much from that. Just
Oh,
like
yeah.
how to entertain a crowd that is just not into it at all, you know?
Yeah.
How
And
do you
just
win
like
them
be like,
over?
you know what? I'm just gonna keep smiling
Yep.
and keep playing
Yeah.
the music, you know, even though they didn't care at all.
But that is
yeah.
the lesson. It's like you need that moment so that when you get to the bigger stage, you're
Yes.
prepared for anything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's when. So we moved to Nashville 8 years ago, and signed our deal with Warner Music Nashville, and signed our pub deal with Warner Chapel, and just really started writing and really immersing ourselves in the community. And I mean, we learned so much from. There's so many talented songwriters here. We just grew so much over that period of time, and now we're putting songs out and just hoping one of them sticks.
Seriously.
And we play. We still travel and play everywhere, which is so fun. We love traveling.
Oh, like Rach Talk.
Traveling and playing for fans and basically doing what we did when we were
Yeah.
little, winning them over, trying
Dad
to win them over.
plays guitar and is tour manager and
Yep.
does
So cool.
everything, drives the van and everything. Yeah.
He's a man of many trades. But yeah, we've just been putting a lot of music out and writing still, and we're just trying to find our spot in the country music world.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got the chance to write together last week, but it was so cool. So every experience, and I know you guys get to do this all the time, but every experience writing with a new group of people is a whole new, you never know, right? Like,
No.
so my first experience writing with a songwriter was so different than working with y'all, was so different than working with who I worked with yesterday. Like, it's different every time.
Yeah.
And that's a world that you've been in for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, songwriting is so vulnerable. So you're literally going into rooms. Now, sometimes we write with the same people, but like if you're writing with somebody brand new, you have to walk in and basically pour your heart out
I was
to
like,
them.
it's kind of like a first date.
It
like,
is.
hi,
And a
like,
therapy
how's this gonna
session.
be,
Yes.
you
Because you
know?
end up saying stuff like the song we ended up writing yesterday was based on something that happened in my life. And I was like, and then he this, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
this. And these other women were like, okay,
Yeah,
and what
yeah,
else? And how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
It's a therapy
It
session.
is. It really is. I mean, there's been so many times where Sophie and I have like dealt with some kind of relationship thing
Yeah.
and we've literally gone into
Shared
a room with
so
two
much.
guys who know nothing about women and relationships.
Right.
And we're like, this happened to me, and then we did this, and then I felt horrible for doing this, and then he did that, and they're like, oh, okay, so we're
Yeah.
gonna write about it? Like,
Like,
yeah.
that actually what you just said was a great line.
Yeah.
And then
You're
it
like,
kind of
yeah.
But writing is crazy. It's different with every person you go in the room with, you kind of have to feel their vibe out, and but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's addicting.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's really interesting too. Every single room I'm going into, I'm learning something new. And one of the things I loved, like I had this aha moment in the room with y'all when we were first talking about this idea, which was yours. You're wearing a hat that said the title. You were like, we think this is a song.
Yes.
And then we were sort of toying around and throwing out ideas. And there was a moment where I was like, oh, wait. Oh, you're singing it. Like it didn't, because I'm not a singer, so it didn't make sense in my brain. Like, oh wait, we have to write something that you can actually sing and it be real. Yeah. In the beginning, I was like, oh, maybe this is like a letter to my daughter. Like I was thinking about Noah and thinking like, oh, I could write this to her. And then I realized, well, if you, beautiful 27-year-old, get on stage, you're 27, did I just make that up? Get on stage and start, people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? So then we flipped it to being this like moment in the bar where the older woman comes up. Which was fun.
Oh, that was fun.
It's so good.
That
And
was a fun one to
it's still
write.
like a letter to a younger girl, younger self. But yeah, it is funny. That's something different. That, like,
especially if you're writing with an artist.
As an artist. Yeah. It is like we try and, do something that we would do because obviously we want every song we write to be something we release.
Well, it's funny because when we were younger and we came to town, we just wrote about anything and everything. Like it wasn't really from the heart. It was just like, this is a cool idea. And I remember writing songs about drinking beer, and I hadn't even had
we were like 16 and
we were
19.
Like 16 and 19.
Yeah.
Like,
and like very good girls.
Yeah.
Like never, no.
We never were like, alcohol, no. Like, that's how we were.
So we had never
not
like
that anymore, but
live. We never had our hearts broken.
No.
And that's one of the things like during like 2020, like during the pandemic, I feel like me and Ivy went through a lot. We lived a lot of life in that year. It was really
I think
weird,
everybody did.
But honestly, like after coming out of that, I was like, man, like the stuff we're writing is actually like very authentic to us.
Very authentic.
And I was very exciting because I was like,
cool.
Like, this means something.
There was a change because you start writing, when you start writing for yourself, you sing it different. You really do. Like those songs become like, you can notice that like I'm relating to it on stage, and it's really coming from the heart when we sing it, because when you're just when you singing like a cover or singing something that you didn't write for yourself, is fine, and sometimes those songs blow up and do really well, but it's just nice when it's from the heart. It's different.
Well, and I think when we speak our truth, other people see their story inside of it.
For sure.
Because I can't tell you how many times I've loved a song and been like, oh, I love that song about XYZ. And then you hear the songwriter or you hear the performer explain what it means to them, and you're like, oh, that's not at all what I was taking out of this conversation. I thought this was about like.
Well, usually for me, it's usually because I have not heard the lyrics correctly.
Losing a love, and this was actually about you losing your mom. Like if you think about like Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. Like that song means so many different things depending on who's singing it and what it is to them. So it's been a really rad process, and I'm super pumped that I got to, number one, meet you guys. Number two, create something that doesn't suck.
That remains to be seen.
You don't always know for sure when you're coming out.
Well,
like, how's it going to be?
It was awesome for us to write with you, because afterwards you gave us a total hype woman speech. It was the best thing ever.
It was so good. We needed
that. Literally, we left that right and stuff. He's like, God heard our prayers this morning. We really needed that. You just were like,
and you don't even know. Like, we did say a prayer that morning, like, Lord, we just need like a little bit of like
we need to know what to do.
We just so happened to be riding with Rachel Hollis. Like, okay, that was I
was like, you cannot come into a room with me and have me not be like, okay, where is your vision board? What are you putting in your journal? Because it's real. Because I do think in life and in my career and all the things that I've done, it's about how do you add value in that space. And coming into this, I'm like, okay, I know that I can write because I'm a writer, but I haven't done what any of y'all have done. I can't play the guitar yet. I can't sing ever. I can't do those things. But I was like, what is the value that I bring to this space beyond my ability to write? Because you could sit with anybody, right? Anybody in this town who walks into Warner Chapel can write with you. But I was like,
right, but not all of those people have well-connected boyfriends.
Something I can bring that nobody else can bring, which is like, I will life coach the
out of
I
this
loved
moment to literally every person I've written with. I'm like, how's your heart?
Yeah.
What's going on?
it.
And then what happened? Okay, and what's next? Where are we going from
It's
here?
very refreshing to do that.
Good.
I'm
Very
glad we
nice.
were like,
Very
that
nice.
was so great.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us, being our guests, performing. Oh wait, I should probably do an intro for it, right, Jack? So we are so excited. It's the first time ever on Rach Talk that we have a live performance of music. This is Walker County doing, what are we calling this song?
I think we did
Bridges You Burn.
Bridges You Burn.
Bridges You Burn. I don't know why I can't use Bridges.
Bridges You Burn.
This is Bridges You Burn by Walker County. We wrote it together. We hope you guys like it.
Come on.
She takes the empty bar stool next to me, says, "How you doing, honey?" And slides me a shot. She doesn't look a day younger than 73, dressed head to toe in pink, and we start to talk. She listens to me as I pour my heart out. I should be further along by now. 24's not what I thought. She smiles and says youth is wasted on the young. 'Cause if I had a few more trips around the sun, I'd get lost, make mistakes, see the world go now, don't wait, get behind the wheel and drive too fast. Cut my hair, wear that dress, drink too much wine, enjoy the mess, say the things good girls shouldn't say. Let the bridges that I burn life away. She tells me how she left behind.
All right, couple notes here. One, I feel that the pacing was too slow in the verse. Like I feel like we were sitting there at the bar waiting for something to happen for way too long. Like it like I get it. Like I get the image. Like I got it. Like let's move on. I felt like the chord progression was it had like a very fixed point. Like we're resting on like the subdominant and dominant for a really long time. And then it really felt like there was never a release into like something different. Like it kind of feels like it kind of blends into like one long section in a way. It feels like we should be getting somewhere, but it's very static. Like I feel like either there needs to be like a contrast between the verses and the chorus, but it's all very, I don't know, samey. Like it feels like we're always starting on this same starting point and like kind of going towards something, but then we kind of dial back and like it feels like it's not going anywhere. I don't know. That's my note for that. And also like the dynamics didn't change. So like maybe, I don't know, pull it back a little bit for the verses or like pump it up for the chorus, but it feels like one run-on section in many ways to me. Also, the line, "The bridges that you burn lighting the way," that is from Beverly Hills 90210. Like, I feel like if you're going to take show dialogue, whatever, but I mean, that should really be credited to that show's writers in 1994. I think that this entire message is very trite and cliched. I think that the way of saying it is also very trite and very just hackneyed. The whole like, oh yeah, so I go in and I'm young and there's an old person and the old person is wise, giving me advice, telling me to live every day like it's my last because they have so many regrets. And it's like, well, whatever. The thing about a person who has more life experience than you giving you advice is that sure, like it could be very valid advice about like things that they regret, but like if it's gonna be about what you should do, but it's not what they did, well, how would they know? Since that's not the life that they chose. So maybe they don't know what that actually would have been like. I don't know. I just think it's, to me, it's just very cliched. It's very hackneyed. It's not really bringing a new angle to, this overall message. You know, you could have an interesting way of expressing it, but that's not here. It's not. The bridges burn thing is that's I wouldn't say it's plagiarism, but that's not new. That's also that's been done before. I don't know. I just feel like it's very bland. It's very cliche. You're not bringing anything new. There's no metaphors here really, other than the bridge thing. And also, like, why are you singing about drinking wine? Like, oh, why? And I'm sorry, but someone who drinks too much wine and is then the old person at the bar is not very likely to be recommending it to you, or even forming coherent sentences, or even being 73. Because you specifically said too much wine. So we're going to go by the definition, too much wine. Good God, like, we're still at the bar. Like, can we please move along? Like, God, like, this song, it's so static. The lyrics are static. The chord progressions are very static. It's making me feel like claustrophobic almost. Like, I don't know.
Some people might call it running away, but I call it getting lost, making mistakes, seeing the world going out on way, living every day like it's my last. Cut my hair, wear that dress, drink too much wine, enjoy the mess, say the things good girls shouldn't say, and leave the bridges that I burn like my way. Oh, out my way.
Do you like my Little House on the Prairie shirt, Jack? Yeah. So you know my whole thing is that
I mean, it's fine. I just feel, in my opinion, there was not nearly enough contrast between sections. Like, when she pulled it back for the last chorus, I was like, oh, whew, it was like a little bit of a relief there. But of course, then we went back up to full. Like, all the lyrics were literally staying in the exact same spot. And like every chord progression was taking off from the exact same point and not really like going anywhere. Like, it just felt like we were just constantly like, I didn't like that song. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. Like, it would be fine as like album filler, or even like it could probably do really, really well on like country radio or something, but I did not like it. I thought it was so trite. It was so cheesy, so hackneyed. It had a plagiarized line. I mean, it's pretty lame.
I don't buy new clothes. So I went to the store downstairs and I bought it so that I would then return it. That was my idea. I just didn't have anything cute. All I have is like band tees, and I didn't feel like that was like Rach Talk cute. Clearly, look, I have my Vans on, Jack. I have my Vans on and I'm about to like go to the prairie. But I thought it was like cool and different and whatever. And then my whole plan was just to return it. Is that maybe rude? But like my whole thing, I don't want to buy new clothes, but I sweat in it. I can't return it because I sweat in it, which means I broke my own rule and I didn't mean to. I was thinking,
but if you have a rule against buying clothes, I would say that buying things with the intent of returning them, number one, you're just a piece of shit. Like, if you won't steal, but you'll do that, you're a piece of shit. You're a cheap piece of shit who's fucking privileged. Seriously, you disgust me. You disgust me. Also, if that kind of violates the whole principle of buying new clothes, like of having a ban on buying clothes, if you're going to then just rent them basically for free, fuck you.
Maybe I could like donate something. Maybe I could plant a tree. I feel really bad actually. But I just want to look cute. And if I was just wearing my like Nirvana shirt, which is pretty freaking cute. Weirdly, I never get hit on more in life ever than when I'm wearing that Nirvana shirt.
Yeah. You're like, obviously. What, you think straight men don't like Nirvana?
What do you think that is? You know what I got today?
Straight men liking Nirvana.
I'm not sure if it's a pickup line, but I want to pretend that it is because I thought it was like kind of interesting. I was waiting for a table at breakfast this morning.
What is with this weird tag at the end?
I mean, looking like... Can I tell you as a side note, I am wearing one right now. I basically just don't wear bras anymore. I am trying with everything in me to get away in line.
I'm so confused. Like, is this the outro? Like, what is this? Outtakes? What is this? Like, I figured like the song would close it out.
With wearing a bra as little as possible. And not in a cute, like, oh, I'm 22 and I'm sexy, but like I'm 39 and I want to be comfortable. Legitimately this morning, I went down, I'm at a nice hotel, went down to breakfast, threw a jacket on over my pajama shirt, which was very thin. I was like, if this jacket were to be ripped from my person, or like I did a good morning stretch or something, people are going to see things they don't want to see. I was like on my phone and this guy walked by and he was like, are you from New Orleans? And I was like, no, I'm not. He said, oh, you look just like a girl in New Orleans. And I was like, I had nothing for him. I had no response to that. And I didn't know if I really looked like a girl in New Orleans or if this was a line. You think it was a line? Definitely. What would I have said to make it? See, I don't have any game. And I'm not trying to have game. I'm very much in love. I'm taken.
The next part is very important. They're going to take you.
I genuinely shut down. Have I talked about this on the show? When guys try and talk to me, I shut down like a robot. I think I did. Did I tell you about getting on the plane and I got separated from Boo? I didn't tell this story? Okay, so this is so dumb.
Yeah, you're so in love, Rachel. It should be a warning sign for you that the first and second men that you ever kissed, like you both fell in love with you. Or you fell in love with them, I mean. Like, really, maybe you're just not selective enough. And also, like, Rachel, you've had a boob job, so your boobs are probably like perfect. So of course, you know, they're gonna like that you have a thin shirt.
I'm getting on a plane, and Boo and I were flying together. I don't remember where, but someone got in front of, and so he was like 2 people behind, or maybe 1 person behind. And the guy behind me, I have no game. And when I think a man is actually flirting, I am so uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. Because I never went out, I never like had bar life, I didn't do those things. So I have this bag, this tote bag, that the front of it looks like almost like a face. This guy behind me is like, ooh, why is your bag so angry? I was like, like, I was like, I don't know. And behind me, my boyfriend is behind this guy.
This is how you answer that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. And then just turn back around and don't talk to him. Although, you know, that doesn't guarantee that he'll stop because he's a man and he's probably terrible. If he's coming at you with a line like that, he's probably the worst. Also, the fact that you don't know how to deal with situations like that should be more of a red flag to you about your ability to give advice.
And he's like legitimately crying. Because he's watching this guy try and flirt with me and watching me he was like, the guy, I like got to my seat and then like the guy carried on and Boo sat next to me and he's just like, that was the most precious and also most embarrassing thing I have ever seen. I was like, this is why, like, if you were ever worried that I was gonna go out in the world and like flirt, you just saw I have nothing. And there must have been something going on with my pheromones that day, because legitimately, like 5 minutes later, you know, people are getting on the plane, Boo's in the window, but he was like working on something, and then I'm in the aisle.
Were you wearing that thin shirt with no bra again? Because that's probably why.
See, because I have to pee like 80 times on a flight, so I just always take the aisle. And a guy stops, Jack, next to me to talk to me. I was like, what is going? Am I wearing my Nirvana shirt? Like, what is happening right now? It had to be my heart. Like, pheromones had to be pumping, because I was like, I do not know what about me right now is doing it for these
Yeah, I'm sure it's not your surgically enhanced boobs.
men, but okay. And a guy stopped and like started chatting me up in the seat. And this time I was bound and determined to like do it right, because now I know Boo's paying attention, and this is twice that a man's flirted with me
Okay, there's only so many times I can handle her saying boo.
in front of him in less than 10 minutes. You know, I'm like trying to be like, okay, but also I'm desirable. This guy is like, he starts chatting me up, and it was when we still wore masks on planes, and he's like, oh, your mask is better than mine. And I was like, first of all, it was the dumbest like way to talk to somebody, but I'm like, at this point, I'm about to make this the greatest exchange ever, because Boo's watching. He's like, keeps talking, like past the point where I'm like, we've said all we came to say today, sir. I've proved a point to my boyfriend. And the guy was like, I bet it's pretty annoying when like dudes come up and like try and talk to you at your seat. And I was like,
Yeah, see, this is why most women would not try to actively encourage that type of conversation, because, you know, because men a lot of times will not stop and leave you alone.
yeah, it is. Because again, I don't have game, and I was just like, please stop. It was all a big mess. It was a big mess. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. If you dug this episode, if you're still...
I know that she's being like lighthearted about this or whatever, but like, okay, but interactions like that, or just, you know, finding a partner, whatever, blah, 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 are a huge part of life. And I would suggest that perhaps you don't have the credentials to be giving any type of person younger than you advice, or older than you for that matter.
Here, will you give this a thumbs up? Will you subscribe to the channel so you get a notification
No.
every single time we post a new episode? If you're listening to this on pod, subscribe to that channel too. I will see you next week, and until then, remember, I love you, and I'm rooting for you.
I hate you, and I'm rooting for you to fail. Well, you know what? That's going to be it. I don't have an outro. I've been Mac. Peace out. Bye! Rachel Hollis, Ricardo, Joyce Meyer.